Recent college grads are gonna watch this film and be like, real. The latest film from cinematic master Park Chan-wook is here with no other choice. It follows a man recently laid off of his job by his company as he struggles to find a new job in time to still support his family. So he devises a plan to secure a new job, kill his competition. This feels like a very timely movie, the neglect of employers to safeguard and compensate and just really even care about their workers, the looming threat of AI, the just destruction of individuality within our capitalistic system where your entire identity is connected to your job and to a company. All of these are concerns that are urgent, not only in South Korea, where the film takes place, in North America, and likely in the entire world. Park is really addressing very modern and very fresh and relevant issues in a just in with such rigor and humor and perspective that I don't really think any other director or writer or just artist could bring to this kind of. He approaches all of these in a distinctly Park Chan-wook way. Mansu, played by the incredible Lee Byung-hun, he begins the film in a almost dreamlike state of bliss and joy and happiness, preparing a meal for his family that is composed of a stay-at-home wife, her teenage son from a separate marriage, their daughter together, who is quite proficient at playing the cello, a little bit of a cello prodigy. They're two adorable golden retrievers. They're all living in his childhood home. They're living like a beautiful, incredible life. That joy is quickly upended when Mansu is let go of at his job. And as he struggles to find a new job, everything that the family has grown accustomed to is now at stake. Can they still afford to pay for these cello lessons that their cello prodigy daughter has? I mean, this is kind of like potentially a future career for her, and to continue that, she would have to continue to have lessons, and the lessons only continue to get more expensive the higher up you go and the more talented you are. So that can they continue to invest in her future? Pretty much, the wife has to begin working again. They can't afford things like Netflix anymore, and they also can't afford feeding 2 extra mouths, so they can't keep their dogs around, which for me personally it's where I would draw the line. There is no world where I am ever getting rid of any dog that I have. I will become homeless with them. That will never happen to me. But different strokes for different folks. So what is one of Mansu's biggest breaking points for him is when they have to consider moving out and selling his childhood home, which he has a deep and complicated connection to in regards to how his father's relationship with home, and therefore his relationship with the home. He has a connection to the house that getting rid of it is like, that's crossing the line for him. That is what, for me, getting rid of my dog, that is getting rid of the home, is his crossing point there. He begins to question his worth as both a worker and also as a provider to his family, as a father, as a husband, when he can't get a job quickly enough. After I believe he sets himself like a 3-month limit, and then after those 3 months, money is going to become an issue. Money does become an issue, as anyone knows in this modern job market. Getting especially a high level job, which he was at beforehand, within 3 months, good luck, best of luck, not going to happen. Doesn't happen here either. He begins to, because he can't provide for his family, he feels a little bit worthless as a worker. It's just like, when in this capitalist society, when your entire identity is connected to your employment, who do you become when that is stripped away? What are you willing to do to gain it back? Who are you willing to become? And as is said in the film, in South Korea, being fired is essentially the equivalent to death in ways that they pretty much say when they're let off at the beginning of the film. Being fired is essentially having your head chopped off, I believe is the saying. Being fired and being jobless is essentially considered death to them. And this dark path of murder that Mansu heads down I think it has much more to do with his identity and his perception of himself than it actually has to do with the job. But how much can you truly tell when those two are so intertwined? Mansu, he doesn't see this crisis that he's undergoing as a way to maybe change or reinvent himself, take a different approach on life, maybe as is suggested in the film, try a different industry. Instead, the thought of having to change his lifestyle and identity is too much for him. He would rather murder people than change tax brackets, pretty much, than go down a tax bracket. And Mansu is he's not a trained killer. His attempts at murder here and attempts to eliminate his rivals, pretty much, are quite clumsy, and they play out in extremely absurdly funny and entertaining ways. This film, those set pieces surrounding the murder, especially one in particular, are almost Looney Tunes level in how goofy they are. There's a bit surrounding an oven mitt is all I will say, like a Russian nesting doll of oven mitts after oven mitt after oven mitt. That is exactly like something you'd see in like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, and um, it's hilarious stuff. Park Chan, it's a hard tonal balance, and I feel like he strikes that balance perfectly. It never felt like, okay, this is like way too goofy or cheesy. It always felt right for the overall tone of the film. And as we watch him go down this dark path, we somehow yet still feel an empathy for him, as if he has no other choice, which those three words are said a lot in the film. Do not play a drinking game where, for how many times no other choice is said during the film, because you will end up probably dead. And there's also a compassion for these men that Mansu attempts to murder, because they all, like Mansu, like most people in society, their deep attachment to their work, being cast off from their work, is kind of like an erasure of self. It's a stripping away of identity, of their worth. They're in the exact same position that our protagonist is in, and we empathize with our protagonist. So how can we not empathize with them as well? I feel like Park Chan-wook does a great job at obviously getting us to care about Mansu and his situation and rooting for him in a way, even though he's doing terrible stuff, but also making us care for these men who he is going to try and murder. They're in the exact same boat. So it's like, oh, well, I don't know exactly what to root for here. Yeah, let's have a group Indeed LinkedIn session instead of murder. It's an example of like when you tie your identity to your job, when you tie who you are to your job, and they're so interconnected, and you entrust yourself and your identity to a system that is completely willing to uproot you and your entire life and sense of self in an instant, just like that, without the slightest hesitation, as they do to these men, as these large companies do to people pretty much every day. Not a great system. Not great. And this is a very bleak and not pessimistic film in many ways. It's definitely a big skewering of the entire system we find ourselves in, because they don't care about you. They don't care about your identity, your mental health, how you are. They care about their bottom line. At the end of the day, that's all they care about. They'll get rid of humans in general and replace you with machines and AI, as this film makes clear by the end. It's a dark, depressing reality that we are headed towards, where companies have shown this for decades at this point. They don't really care about their employees, the humans. And if they can get rid of them and have the job be done by machines, by AI, then they will do that. And that is a reality that we are day by day heading towards. But moving away from the dark, depressing reality that is our world that Park Chan-wook is depicting here. This is also a hilarious film. This is one of the funniest films I saw at the film festival. So many great gags, so much great physical comedy. Like I said, it's goofy, it's slapstick. There's, like, I'll keep saying it, it gives Looney Tunes vibes sometimes. Maybe that's just my reference to it, but it's able to be funny and goofy while also keeping its focus on the themes of the film, which themselves are quite dark and sad. Lee Byung-hun is just amazing in this. The only thing I think I've previously seen him in is Squid Game, and he's very good in that. This is a very different role. His Squid Game role is very serious, very dark, and there are some serious moments here. I was most impressed by his comedic chops. Like there are so many funny scenes in this film that completely come down to him and him nailing the comedy, and comedy is not something that is easy to nail, and he does it in spades. I feel like he's a character that in a different actor's hands would be completely easy to just like write off and not root for. And I don't know if you root for him and you empathize with him, even though he's going down this dark path. And that completely is down to Lee Byung-hun's performance. He nails every aspect of this very, very complicated dude. The cinematography in this is just astounding. Park Chan-wook just knows how to move and use a camera in a way unlike anyone else, and he forms like such unique cinematic images that I could never think up. I don't think anyone could ever think up besides him. They're distinctly him, and there's also just some like great uses of like fades in between different shots in this film. It's just beautifully shot. It's going to be one of the best shot films by the end of the year. It's just incredible work. The screenplay is very great. The writing is all very sharp. The editing is also very well done. Every aspect of this film technically is just it's cinema working at its highest point. So yeah, that is my review for No Other Choice. It is brilliant. It's a great time. My second favorite film that I think I saw TIFF this year. It's just great, great stuff. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I believe it comes out in limited this December. It continues to prove why he is one of the best directors currently working out there right now. He is a cinematic master, unlike many others out there. He's just brilliant, and he makes brilliant movies. Oh yeah, also Oscars. This depends on what Neon chooses to do, because Neon's number one push is obviously sentimental value. I think they can only get 2 in Best Picture. I'm not going to put 3 Neon films in Best Picture. It depends on if they decide to push this more or it was just an accident more. And I feel like we don't currently know which way they're going to lean. It was just an accident when the Palme d'Or. It did pretty good at the other like TIFF and festivals that followed afterwards. No Other Choice got like the best reception out of Venice. For some reason, with the jury, did not win anything. That's like a group of 9 people. I don't know how much weight you can put behind that. It won the Best International People's Choice Award at TIFF. And it was easily like, this was the film that I really, really struggled. I didn't really struggle to get into any other films at TIFF. This was the one I had to fight to try and get to see this film. And I was luckily able to do it. But like, that was a struggle. There's a lot of demand for this film. And there's a lot of people who, when they see it, they love it. More so than I ever heard, at least at TIFF, for it was just an accident. So if they decide to push this more than that, I would have this in picture, director, international, screenplay. If not, if they do go more behind it was just an accident, which is plausible, I'd probably just have it in international and screenplay. Park Chan-wook has not been embraced by the Academy, and he should be at this point. It's insane that decision really didn't even get international. So I feel like I would love for him to have a moment this award season. One of my favorites of the year. Very much so love it. Comment your thoughts down below, like the video, and subscribe for more upcoming TIFF reviews. You have no other choice. You must subscribe.